Katherine Black reacts. The Heat, Part 3. The Heat on ITV, British television, cooking programme, group of young chefs taken into a brand new restaurant and have to shape up or ship out, basically. So Akito's driving me mad. He's talking in the first person all the time. Akito thinks this and Akito thinks that. It's doing my head in. We've had the first kiss and more. Djordje and Kat hooked up and I believe they spent the night together. And Kat announces she gets attached very easily. I don't think Djordje is an attachment kind of person. Alex and Maya are flirting, which is doing Tom's head in because Tom's got the hots for Maya. He says he wants to laugh her into bed. Bless him. He's funny as Tom. I like Tom. He's got more edge than a broken peapot, but his heart's in the right place and he's a funny guy. Marta feels misjudged. Now, Marta, I'm kind of split with it. Yes, we are seeing that she is misjudged. She's never said a word. She's never said a spiteful or nasty word against anybody. But then she does elevate her own position by putting others down. And she's very quick to impress JC by saying, oh, well, he did this and she did that and she did the other. So yeah, I'm split with Marta, 50-50 at the moment. Jayan is in hospital. He's only got a throat infection. It must be one hell of a throat infection to put him in hospital. He was fine yesterday. He was in the kitchen yesterday, no problem at all. We see him on a video call. He looks fine, sitting up in hospital, chatting away. There doesn't seem to be anything wrong with him, the wimp. George is head chef. So JC asks who wants to be head chef and everybody puts their hands up that wants to be, and they're still nominating themselves forward by part 3. By part 4, no, they're all taking that one step back and pushing somebody else forward. But George says he wants to be head chef and he says he's loud, direct and a good leader. Tom was the worst yesterday and the day before, and he's supposed to be on pot washing, but with Jayon being in hospital, he's managed to avoid it, so he's back on service. There's 3 new dishes on the menu, each a starter, main and dessert, which adds extra pressure because they still have to do the old dishes, but there's 3 new ones as well that they have to get their heads around. So we've got Marta and Alex on starters, we've got Kat and Akito on mains, and Tom and Maya on desserts. Akito is still, by the time service starts, he is still talking in the first person. Oh, Akito needs to get this fish on. Oh, Akito needs to do this. It's getting really annoying. And yet nobody picks him up on it. Maya has got it into her head that Marta hates her. I think she's being totally and utterly paranoid. At one point, she asks Marta to do something, and Marta, or she does something for Marta, and Marta says, thank you. And Maya goes, excuse me. And she only said thank you. Maya said she had tone to her voice. I don't think she did. I think she completely read that wrong. There's no doubt there has been tension between them from day one. And that tension is building and building. And Maya's kind of having a little conversations with people trying to turn them against Marta a little bit. Oh, she hates me, she's nasty to me, she's mean. I don't think she's been particularly mean to her more than anybody else. Marta's got a very big opinion of herself. She's confident and she's feisty, and she will stand over everybody's head to get that winning place at the end of the show. And that means that she's making herself quite unlikable. Service is behind again, and Akito is told off for cutting the steaks too thin. The surf and turf is ruined all the steaks by cutting them too thin. We're on day 3 and there are 90 covers in the restaurant to get through. Alex burnt the corn today after being told to check it. The filling for the lotus flowers, or whatever flowers they are, those big fluffy flowers that they fill with stuff, it's too thin. That's ruined. So the lotus flowers, or whatever, they're not lotus flowers, I can't remember what they're called, the flowers are off the menu. Marta throws Djordje under the bus. JC asks something and Marta says, oh, Djordje hasn't done it. Djordje is behind. Djordje has burnt the corn. Djordje has done this. No, it was Alex that burnt the corn. But she completely blasted Djordje for something to JC. There's no loyalty to the staff there. And if the watchers noticing this, then JC certainly noticed it. The 3 front of house girls are feeding the guests bread. They've been sitting for an hour with no food. So they're taking bread baskets round to fill them up. Here, have some bread, love. That'll do you. Get that down you, because it's probably all you're going to get today. Maya was praised for her souffle. She's on desserts and she made a lovely raspberry souffle. So her souffles were highly praised. There's a general lack of communication in the kitchen. Djordje has put himself forward to be head chef and he's crumbling. He's not doing a good job. It's all going downhill rapidly. JC talks to a piece of corn. He gets a little piece of corn off a corn kernel. He puts it on the counter and he's got his head down talking to this piece of corn. He's losing it. Everything goes to cack. Nobody gets any food. And JC throws a tantrum, a proper tantrum. He says the F word at the top of his voice in front of all the diners. And he throws everybody out of the kitchen and closes the service. Nobody's getting fed. That's it. It's done. Finished. Finito. Closed service. He's not usually a shouter, but he does ride the chefs hard. He's quite a quiet. He particularly picks on Tom, but he's quite a quiet guy. But he really goes off the rails in part 3. He goes out and he apologises to the guests and says, I'm sorry guys, the restaurant's closed. Come back again tomorrow, basically. In the debrief, the first thing he says is it's the worst day. The worst day he's had. The first time he's ever shut a service. Marta throws Djordje under the bus for the second time and lists everything that Djordje did wrong. Djordje was the head chef and JC says he doesn't have an effing clue. And a lot more besides. Djordje is asked by JC who he thinks is the weakest chef. You know, you're the head chef. Who do you think should go today? And instead, you know, I'm watching him, waiting for him to say, well, actually, I should. It's me. I'm at fault. I was in charge of the kitchen. I've got to take responsibility. But no, he says Akita. They're all quite keen on throwing each other under the bus. So he says Akito should go because he was the slowest chef that day. Again, I think the head chef is responsible. I think Djordje should have been put on pot wash. Anyway, JC hasn't finished with his tantrum. He says, Akito, you should be on pot wash. However, and everybody thinks he's going to turn to Djordje and say, you're head chef, you're going on pot wash. And he says, no. He said, however, Akito, out. You're done. Go home. And he throws Akito out. So we're one chef down. After the debrief, we go to the beach. We're going to have a little bit of sunbathing on the beach in Barcelona. It's lovely. So Marta tells Natalie to shut up. She's so rude. She's really not doing herself any favours. I think this girl is being misjudged. And I think people are reading her wrong, but she really isn't doing herself any favours. She starts putting Djordje down and telling everybody how useless Djordje is. And it's doing that same thing again. She's putting somebody else down to elevate her own position and make herself look better. And she isn't. She's just making herself look like a bitch. It's catchy. Djordje talks about himself in the first person. Djordje is really sorry. Djordje will do better tomorrow, he says. It's an epidemic. Maya wants to confront Marta. She wants to have a sit-down talk with her and say, look, what's the problem between us? What can we do to sort this out? But she's terrified of her. She's too scared to talk to her. And Djordje and Kat are getting closer. It's all lovey-dovey. And Djordje says he's catching feelings for her. And Kat says she's falling for him. It's all doomed. It's not going to come out well in the wash. And that's where we leave part 3. I will be back with part 4, The Heat, ITV. It's really good. Watch it. Nice chat.